I'm Andy. You're here. We're at Zoom, and I got a great show for you today. I wanted to let you know, if you've just jumped in, if you haven't really been following the memos for the last couple of days, today is Wednesday, December 16th. And we're live. If you're watching this on a recording, welcome to you too. The last 3 days, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I've been distributing lessons about this 10 by 10 job search formula, 10 major steps that I wanted you to follow that I think will really help your overall job search. And I've been giving you email lessons each day. On Sunday, the first lesson was about self-awareness and making sure that you're dialed in correctly. The second day on Monday was about networking. And then yesterday, Tuesday, was on interviewing. And I was trying to give you deeper lessons on each of these areas. Now, if you haven't gotten those lessons, don't worry about it. But what I would do is grab this 10 by 10 formula, because what's in it are the 10 major steps that I think you really need to focus on and diagnose yourself to see how healthy your job search is, as well as what are the big mistakes that people make in each of those 10 steps. And then also what my pro tips would be. Kind of don't do this instead. What I wanted to do today is I wanted to take a little bit of a deeper dive in 3 areas. It's going to be long on the checklist aspect of what I want you to focus on, because among those 10 steps, not everything is created equal. Just like not every activity that you do in anything in your life is ever, they're not all equal, right? Some of them are going to give you more bang for the buck than others. So I wanted to talk about what are 3 areas that I really want you to focus in on. Okay, so that's what today is going to be about. And if you don't have this little beauty, it is available all the time from me. It's free, and Kara can drop it into the chat, and hopefully you can grab it. But if not, don't worry about it. You'll have an opportunity to grab it. It's not going away or anything like that. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to talk about those 3 areas, and one of them is related to the message that I sent you on Sunday, and it's about self-awareness. Now, hopefully you can see the cards. I'm guessing that you can. Successful people plan to succeed. And I know for some of you at this moment, everybody's at a different stage in their life. Everybody's at a different stage in their job search. Everybody has a different level of confidence. We have different skill sets. Some of us just need a job. Some of us want the perfect job. Some of us want ideal conditions. And we all approach this a little bit differently. But one thing I can tell you is that in everything you do in life, most people fail at stuff because they don't plan to succeed. They're not ready when things go right, or they're not sure how to evaluate whether things are right. So this is what I mean by planning to succeed. So what am I talking about? Well, a lot of people, when they lose their job or when they're unhappy, what do? They just start looking. And what did I say in interview intervention, right? One of the first things that I told you was you're doing it backward. It might be the first words in the book, right? It's don't look outward to what's available. Look inwardly at yourself and make sure that you are dialed in order, and that you are setting yourself up for success. You know what success looks like. I know a lot of you follow me. We talk about great questions to ask employers. Right? And what's my favorite question that I love asking employers? You ask an interviewer, if I was to work here, or anybody who was to take this job, a year from now, what would success look like? Right? It's a great question because it zeroes them in on giving you the specifics of what you need to accomplish in the future. That immediately gives you notations about whether that looks good to you, right? Can you accomplish that? And then in an interview, it allows you to sell yourself against what that success looks like. Well, why are you not doing that for yourself? What does success look like? What does that environment look like? What does the right operating environment look like for you? So are you doing that with yourself? And I'm big on the Socratic method. I use the Socratic method with you. I use the Socratic method with me, where I feel like we achieve greatness in life not by the answers we come up with, but the questions we ask ourselves, right? Maybe you've seen one of my quotes floating around about that. So 1A, am I pursuing the right career, company, job? And if you're wondering, well, I don't know what that is, I actually just gave you a little formula for how to do that. What would success look like for you? And I'm not necessarily talking about, well, I need to make $100,000. I'm talking about, what are the kind of people you'd be working with? What kind of products and services would you work on? Right? You don't have to know the exact product and service, but you might know the nature of the service. I've used this example for you in the past. Stacy, our marketing director / Andy's wardrobe director, she actually, she did content marketing and other things for some nonprofit organizations and other types of companies. But when I asked her what was important to her, and she was talking about making a difference in people's lives and so on and so forth, that maps back to what I do as an influencer and expert in this space, where I help you with your careers and your lives. Right? Well, okay, she might not have known she was going to get into this space, but it certainly aligned. It was part of what looked like success to her. That's what I'm talking about. So have you addressed this criteria that I constantly harp about? Are you getting this stuff in order? Okay? And once I do I have the right and all the questions to confirm my choice? So there's the pre-part, the preliminary, which is, what does that look like for me? What does success look like for me? And then when I start evaluating and interviewing employers, are they actually matching it? And where do those questions come from? They come from the criteria that you created about yourself of what success looks like. So that is very important. Did you do your homework in advance? Do you know what success looks like? Do you plan to succeed, right? Even if you are at your lowest and you're like, I just need a job, Andy, come on. No, I need you to actually plan for what success looks like, and then go look for a job and then see how close it matches that with the right questions. Now, if you're in my free stuff, meaning you're just leveraging my YouTube channel when the dang thing works, or my booklets or things like that, there's a video out there about how to choose the right job. That is a great starting point to get at things like this. What does success look like for me? If you are in my job search boot camp, you have the first module has all the deep self-awareness stuff. It has another video on a 3-pronged technique to make sure that you are proceeding down the right paths, even though you don't know what the flag in the ground looks like, but how to gain momentum and traction. And it also has the 10-point formula for how to surface more job options for yourself that coincide with your success criteria. Okay, you have very deep stuff there. So those are the assets, depending on whether you're leveraging the free stuff or whether you're in my boot camp. Now, okay, so that's number one. How we doing? 100 people. Okay, 100 people made it. Oh, that's great. Okay, second thing. Okay, now I am gonna go all Andy on you in this one. Like the first one was kind of a warm up. All right, but this is the one. I mean, I used a lot of pretty colors for this one because I get really amped up about this. I think I pretty much have now said this 7 or 8 shows in a row, and I even had to make a vertical card for you with all these pretty colors. Are you actually a marketing machine? Okay, you need to be a marketing machine. Let's talk about what I mean. So when you figure out what success looks like, obviously we want you to bring yourself to market. So we want you to have a nice resume. We want you to have some cover letters. We want you to have a good LinkedIn profile. But that's not even what I'm talking about. That's the paperwork of the marketing side, right? That's the prereqs that you have to have in order to go market yourself, build your brand, and all that other good stuff. But are you actually aggressively circulating your marketing material, your credentials out into the world. And here's what I mean. This is well, it's supposed to resemble a funnel. I don't know if you can make this out or whatever, but up at the top is sending out your resume. It's not shoving your resume into an applicant tracking system. It's sending out your resume. Okay. This middle part is all the exchanges. This is where a lot of you spend a lot of time where you should not be. And then, right, you send your resume to some places, you get some exchanges, some people get back to you, some people don't, you go back and forth, this and that. Can I talk to this person, that person? Sometimes it turns into interviews, less of those. Then you get some job offers, hopefully, and then, boop, out pops the job. Okay. Now, you see these little numbers up here? 90%. Up in that big circle with the orange stuff, that's like the warmish zone. You need to be spending 90% of your hours doing stuff that leads to this. So what do I mean? Well, a bunch of you just got done with me in the 5-day job search challenge last month, right? What do we talk about? Identify companies, identify people, send your messages. Okay, if you're not familiar with my job search challenge, head to my YouTube channel. There's about a 30 or 40-minute video out there. It's not the 5-day program that a lot of people went through, but it's still pretty good, and you'll understand what I mean by being a marketing machine. The job search challenge is this top circle. That's what everything you're doing to think about where you want to go, getting the resume there, sending it to somebody, that's the 90% part. But here's what a lot of you do. You send some resumes. Then somebody gets back to you, or somebody doesn't get back to you. And then you say, Andy, how long should I wait to follow up? Andy, they said this to me. What should I say back to them? Right? They said they are not interested. They said put it in the ATS. They said that they're not sure if we're hiring or not. And you're spending a lot of time in here. What number is here? 1%. I would make it 0.5% if I could have fit the thing in the marker. But you're spending 80% in this section with your mental energy and all the agonizing, thinking, rethinking, forwarding, re-forwarding, replying, chasing people who are not getting back to you or are not moving at the pace you would like them to move. All right? Instead, you should be spending more time up here at the top. And then when you get the interviews, let's call that 9-point-something%. Okay? If you're spending, right, 40 hours a week searching, 36 of them need to be doing this. And then 4 of them need to be doing that. All right? But you're spending a lot of time in here. This is the bad zone. The logistics zone is, yeah, I want to come in for an interview. Where should I show up? Right? Okay, you're not the right person. Who's the right person? Send me to that person. You're not getting back to me? Don't spend any time on them. Now, this is a formula for life. It works for every one of you, for everything you do. It works for me too. Let me give you an analogy. I built this thing called the Job Search Bootcamp. In 2016, all the concepts that go into the Job Search Bootcamp and some concepts since that time, I spent energy building a program that then evolved into the Job Search Bootcamp, which I started selling, actually that program in 2017. Okay, 90% of my time is not spent building that program. 90% of my time was spent building that program initially. And since I've released that program, 90% of my time has spent what? Marketing the damn thing. And I spent 10% of my time nurturing it, answering questions for people, showing up for live group coaching sessions, adding little sessions and specialty things here and there. What's this akin to? I'm a 50-year-old job searcher. Well, what have you been doing for the last 28 years? You already built your product, right? Why are you spending 90% of your time trying to change yourself or go after more certifications or chase people in here? No, spend 90% of your time today, whether you're 25, 35, 55, or 75. It doesn't matter. You should be spending 90% of your time looking for somebody to buy you. That's what you need to be doing, okay? This is where a lot of you are falling down. This pretty silly looking funnel that I drew, okay? So how do we ask ourselves from a Socratic standpoint? Am I spending enough time in the top of Andy's funnel? Am I generating enough leads? When people tell me my stuff's not working, like, my first answer is, how many send outs did you send? That's going to be the first question. Second thing is, who'd you send them to? What'd they look like? Meaning, what'd the person look like? Then, okay, what'd you send them? What does that look like? Right? So the first thing that I didn't do when I put the boot camp up for sale, and the boot camp comes out for $500 or whatever it is, and a bunch of people bought it and not so many people bought it, right? The first thing I didn't do was say, uh-oh, I need to change the product. No, I need to go find more people to look at the product so that they can buy the product, right? I'm not going to go change the product, and I'm not going to go lower the price. Don't go lower in what you'll take in the way of compensation. That is not marketing you, okay? So am I spending enough time finding people who are potential suitors for me, okay? And then versus, am I wasting too much time and mental energy in the follow-up section or in the ATS or in this crappy blue section right here in the exchanges? Okay? Exchanges should be logistical exchanges to set up time to talk to each other or to get to the person that you should be talking to. That's it. Don't send more messages trying to convince somebody to get back to you. Okay? You're burning a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of mental anguish. Move on. Okay? I've hit this one. We've beaten this one up time and time again. Don't lose sight of this funnel. Take a screenshot of this. Okay? Please. All right. All right, next one. All right, now, this is the money part. Okay, not the actual money part, but where the money is earned. Actually, wait. Let me go into this one. Do I have the sales pitches down stone cold? So what are your sales pitches? Your interviews, right? Your interview stories. So when you go into an interview, 3 areas I want you to obsess about. Okay? 3, just 3. Because if you got these 3 down, which are really, there's subparts to these, but this is what I would obsess about. The foundational 5. Do you know what the foundational 5 is? All right. These are the stories. Actually, there's a bonus one in there that you absolutely have to have. Everybody, whether you're 22 or 72 and everybody in between, every great interviewer focuses on these 5 stories, because from these 5 stories, I can pretty much tell if I'm going to hire you. All right. Now, you have to have these 5 stories packaged, and they should be in alignment as closely as possible to the company that you are interviewing, which means you might have multiple stories for each one of these that I'm going to run through very quickly. And you want to choose the one that most closely relates to the target company you're interviewing with. What are they? Very quickly. What are you passionate about? Your problem-solving ability. Where did you add the greatest value? Where did you develop people? How'd you serve a customer? And what was your biggest mistake and what'd you learn? Okay, now, very quickly, because I have a whole video out there on this. There's a video on the 5 stories that you need to be able to tell. It's on my YouTube channel. Passion. What are you passionate? What drives you? If you're not passionate about what I do, why would I want to hire you, right? Can you actually troubleshoot problems? Now, the closer the problem is related to the kind of problems I have, the better your story will be on point. Where did you add the greatest value? So what were your major contributions? I've given you the great 8 areas. If you don't know what that is, 8 ways to prove your value to the employer. It's on the YouTube channel. How did you develop people? Now, you might be saying, well, Andy, I'm 24. I've never had a chance to develop people. Yes, you have. You have teammates. You have customers. You have internal customers, right? Maybe you've helped develop your boss. Okay, there's any which way. If you're a leader, right, you should have loads of stories. How'd you serve your customers? You do have customers. They might not be called customers who buy your product. Your customer could be your community. It could be your teammates. It could be your boss. It could be somebody internally. Maybe you are an internal consultant that runs projects for this department. however it is, there's some way you serve somebody. And then mistakes. I want to know how you look at them, because the greatest people make the most mistakes. They make them the fastest. They make the most of them, and they learn from them. I don't know. Stacy put my quote card out. I think it was yesterday, Stacy. I don't know if it was yesterday, and I don't know if you saw it, but it says success is incidental, right? We really become who we are because of our failures, right? So that's what I'm talking about. And if you can't come up with a mistake, like if I can't run an entire interview on all the mistakes you've made, that's a problem. So you got to make sure you got the stories. I got to tell me about your greatest failure video on the channel too. Okay, so do you have those down? Do you have them down cold? Now, how about this? What about the popular questions? Do you have these down cold? What are the popular questions? So if you have this guy, interview intervention, there is a chapter in here on my Silver Bullet interview chapter. You can have this book for free. If you chip in a few bucks, I'll mail it to you anywhere in the world. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. The popular questions are, why did you leave your current job? Why are you open to leaving your current job, right? That kind of stuff. Why do you want to work here? What value do you bring, or what makes you unique? So on and so forth, right? Tell me about a time when. Tell me about a time when you disagreed with somebody. Tell me about, right, that kind of stuff. Those are the popular questions. So you got to have these down. You got to have stories, right, that stone cold. Check your stock on that. And then here, do you have the outlines for the situational questions? What is this one? Well, I did a show on how to remember without using notes. Actually, we have two versions. I have a mini, and we have a major. The major version's coming out in January. The mini version's already out on the YouTube channel. But what I mean by that is, whenever I'm asked about how I'm going to do something, you don't have to memorize your story for how you're going, or what you did in the past to run this big project, or how you would go about running the project in a situation in my environment, because you have your outline. The outline says that anytime I run I'm the project manager to run a customer relationship management technology implementation, the 7 things I need to do are, right, customer segmentation, requirements gathering and facilitation, boom, 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 right? Architect it, design it, develop it, QA test, so on and so forth. So that's the outline. That outline will be used anytime somebody asks you how you would implement this type of solution. Generally speaking, all your answers will be an extension, 90% of that outline. You don't need to remember all the details of your story from the past, as long as you remember your outline. And when you talk to somebody about how you would handle it in their environment, you know your outline. If you are building a practice, what would you do? If you run a P&L, what would you do? If you're the chief revenue officer, how would you build the marketing strategy and go-to-market strategy and team and so on, right? There's a formula. These outlines are yours, and they're yours from your experience. You should not need to think about these. They should be second nature. But you want to clean them up. You want to make sure, boom, 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 boom. Right? So your recall is super fast, right? So let's just recap it. And I want to go through these 3 real quick. All right. Number 1, are you setting yourself up for success? All right. This is the questions you're going to ask yourself. It's the criteria that is going to drive your happiness. And it's the questions that you're going to spawn from that list of criteria in order to investigate and confirm the options that you see or can surface will align to you and your happiness. Okay, so that's number 1, most important. The second thing is on the funnel. Am I spending enough time up here in the lead generation part of the funnel? The more at-bats you get, the faster you're going to get here. The less time you'll spend here. Okay, that's the second thing that's really important. And then the third thing is, do I have the 3 kind of the three-headed monster of the different kinds of stories that I need to tell. Okay, do I have the 5 or 6 great pivotal stories that I can use and apply to almost anything? Do I know the most common questions? Okay, you can get those out of Interview Intervention, and there's 43 variations of those 14 main popular questions, so you'll be totally covered. And then the other thing is, do I know my outlines so that when I am put in a situation where I have to either recall a story in a way I did something, I don't have to memorize it, or if somebody asks me how I would do something, I'm ready. Okay, I hope that serves you. Don't forget to grab this guy. Okay, don't forget to grab this guy. It's free. It's been available for years. So it ain't going anywhere. I love this tool. And if you want a little more on this too, I even have a webinar about how to find a job you love. And this booklet coincides with that webinar as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. And it's, I loved bringing that to you. I've loved bringing every show to you this year. And I wish you a lot of luck on this. I know it's been a tricky time, but you all got this. You all got this. One other thing. You're asking if the replay is going to be available on YouTube. I will cut this up for you, and we will get it on the channel. And as a matter of fact, I'll just release it here. Just give me a couple days. We just need to cut it up, get it loaded up, and all that good stuff. But I'm here for you, right? It'll be there. It'll be there. All right, so don't you guys worry about that. And I got plenty of time here for you today too. There's some things I want to tell you about stuff that's coming up. So if you actually are watching this on the recording, I'll see you so long.